Hello, viewers and listeners, and welcome to the Afro Gamer. And today we do have a special edition. It's a series which we've started, and we have had the opportunity to partner with the Lagos Esports Forum to bring to you, the African Mobile Community Liga weekly recap. And that's just us discussing the scores, the table, surprises of the week, team of the week, player of the week. And I do have with me a wonderful person who is also the co-founder and CEO of Lagos Esports Forum, and he would be my anchor for the recap. Shayo, welcome back. Now you're giving us back to back.
Oh well, what can I say? Great times. I remember you mentioned the fact that it was unlimited content last week. So yes, indeed, we're back with that, and thanks to the Afro Gamer for putting this up and allowing us to, give much more than. Because I remember the post on the AMCL page yesterday at Africa Mobile CL. That's the handle on Twitter that says how long to the next match day. Well, we're just 24 hours to that, but for now, let's enjoy a recap of what happened in the week one of the AMCL.
Okay, wonderful. Before we move further, this episode is sponsored by TipNG. TipNG is a gifting platform that allows you to get tips and gift prizes or gifts, cash gifts actually from friends, fans. So if you're a gamer, you stream your content, not just even being a gamer, if you create any content,
Any creative, yeah.
yes. So anyone can tip you and say, "Oh, I love what you're doing. Here is 1,000 naira. Here's 5,000 naira." And all you just need to do is open an account whereby you put in all your details and you have a link where you post. So you don't have to post your account number for viewers. You don't have to put your phone number. You don't have to put your email. All those sensitive information. All you need to do is a link, and viewers can click on that and go ahead and tip you, and it goes directly to your bank account. So let's get the ball rolling. Shayo, week one has been wonderful. I had the opportunity to, watch a few games and see the banter back and forth on
Yes.
social media, Twitter especially. How was week one for you?
Um, I'd say good start. In terms of general play, though a few disappointments. As regards some teams I pitched my tent with, but I guess we'll get into those details much later. And that's in the championship division, but in the Premier Division, I think the surprising thing on match day one was the fact that um, Draco Solem and Incognito dropped games on match day one. So it began to look like, hey, is it going to be a rough season for the strong teams? I think 0-2. I'm not sure if they won the two games, if it was a clean slate for them too. So I think most of the teams struggled getting into game one. Maybe nerves. For Draco, they had to come from behind. For Incognito, they dropped the second game to go into the tiebreaker. Maybe nerves, maybe it was just what it is. Maybe the other teams were really, really coming into their own. But overall, good display by those teams in the Premier Division. In the Championship, we're having surprise packs. Teams that, yeah, teams that we didn't think um, of much of, especially maybe because they've not played in our previous two tournaments, the MGT and the WCS, or maybe they did and they didn't qualify, especially for the WCS, which had 89 teams. I'm not sure I know all the 89 teams that took part in the qualifiers before we arrived at the 32. So, but all in all, good start, and we can only wait for week two and see more action in the two divisions.
Okay, thank you for that. To all our viewers, if you have any comments about what you thought about week one, please go ahead in the comment section and go for it. You could even go ahead and banter about your team. Feel free. This is a total package of recap. I know during the week, the match they won, you and I were talking, and we're surprised to see some predictable black horses, like you mentioned, drop some maps. We're expecting, 2-0 for something landslide, and we started saying 2-1, 2-1.
2-1. Yeah.
Yes, and zero remorse also had 2-1, and it was a case of okay, looks like
I think
it's
they
going to.
even also had to come from behind. I remember Zero
Yes.
too had to come from behind.
So it was a case of, oh wow, that means it's actually going to be an interesting season.
Yeah.
And why I say that is because even if you lose, the way LASF did the point structures, even if you lose, as long as you win a map, you get 1 point rather than 0 point,
One
as
point.
opposed.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think I was having that conversation and I was saying it is going to be an interesting season because that is actually going to differentiate who
Matter.
relegates and who doesn't. Those 1 point, even if you are not getting three, but you're getting one here, you get three, you get another one. It's that 1 point that's actually going to save a few teams from
It
being
probably
relegated.
saved the day for you exactly because if you're not coming up against one of the teams you're together in that struggle to stay in the Premier Division, then a win would just do the magic for you. That's for most of the teams. So yes, indeed, those 1 points would matter at the end of the day. The only other thing which might be futuristic is probably how a team that drops a map can also lose 1 point.
True, true.
Which I think would also affect. So you may not get 3 points, it may be 2 points. I don't know, but hey, it is the way it is right now. We would only wait for the how things will pan out and how we eventually get into much of the action. Like I said,
Okay, so before we go ahead and start with the championship division,
yeah,
there's already a comment ongoing.
okay.
Mafia says cryptic at the top end of the table. We'll go ahead and look at the table very soon, and we will be able to, address that. And he also said who predicted that. So for before we start match day one, Shayo, for who were you, the championship division, who were you looking at? Like, okay, I actually want to see this team. I want to see this team. I want to see this team. Who were the teams you were looking out for in the championship division?
This is a terrible question. I know usually people say, "Oh, very good question to the host," but this is a terrible question because it was also Mina. And I'm not even saying I expected they will be on top. Not like it wasn't out of place for them, but I felt they would be, maybe in the top four, top five, and that's based on what we've seen them do in the recent past. But unfortunately, as the table shows, they sit at the bottom with no win, and that's the only team across both the divisions who have not won any game. Of course, apart from the team that was bounced. So that's corrupt Vortex. That's the only team that's yet to win any game, and it's really disappointing because there are questions being asked. There are talks of them missing Blue and A. Boni, who we know were part of the All-Star team for the World Connected Series in December. But then I didn't think that two players being missing in your squad should affect your performance. You should still have been able to knock up something, but rather disappointing that's the case. The other team, like I said earlier on, I was feeling the social vibe, so I felt like, okay, maybe we could have something going on the maps also. That's a menace, and not in the top five also. And I begin to wonder, come on, guys, let's do this. So, like I said, it's a terrible question to answer, but then that's what it is. But more than anything, if there's any team that has surprised me in the championship division is the Wakandas. And I think those guys have got some fantastic stuff going for them. And we can only keep an eye on them and see how the season pans out for them.
Okay. Before we move along, there's just one comment that caught my eye, and that is from Melv, and he was saying two players missing matters.
Okay. Is the pro. I just felt, hey, um, they were replaced. Not like missing doesn't mean you didn't fill those roles. And you expect that those who are coming in are not entirely out of place. They definitely must have measured up for you to have included them in your roster for a competition as big as the AMCL, even though it's just the inaugural edition. And I guess that's a sentiment most of the other players share. So, hey, the two players actually are key players for them. So yes, I can understand for Osamina, but maybe I should throw it back to Mel that if Xerox and Rui are not around, does that mean that
Incognito will have
you
zero
can't count on
points.
him?
Yeah, that's a very
We can count on him and Uncle Bonus to deliver the
to
and Coach
deliver.
Slim to deliver the goods,
Exactly.
you know.
Yes. So for all of you those joining us, thank you for tuning in. This recap is sponsored by Tip NG, the gifting platform that allows you to get cash gifts for your content. So let's move on now to what's it called? The Championship Division Week 1, and we will go ahead and address, the results. So for Week 1, we had K9 losing to Area 57 2-0, Elite Gamers to Menace 2-1, Wakanda also taking the victory 2-0, and Comet Gaming 2-1 to Regiment, Aphelion Eclipse 2-1 to Knights, and Osomina losing to My Revenge 2-0. Aside Osomina's surprise to you because you were tipping them, which other fixture here was a surprise to you?
Menace, like I said, it was a good start. I wonder what has happened after this first game because it hasn't particularly gone well for them after this first game, which they won against the Elite Gamers, who we all thought would have won that particular one. So that came as a surprise to me. Wakanda's against Void Gaming was also one I thought, even if Void Gaming was going to lose, they would give a fight in there, but it was a straight win for Wakanda's, which is why I said we need to keep an eye on those guys. There's something going in that side, and we can only wait for week 2 and see how they churn out the results yet again.
Okay, wonderful. I can see a comment here. Someone said Elite Gamers got disqualified in Search and Destroy. When you get disqualified in a map for either breaking the rules or using a weapon you're not, you automatically miss that. So I think the question should be, why would Elite Gamers kind of break the rules? Because from what we've seen, which we'll still come to, is the Lagos Esports Forum doesn't, zero tolerance
Tolerance
for
for
cheating or breaking
any
the
violation of the
any
rules.
violation. So the question should be to Elite Gamers as to why they got disqualified. So let's move
But
also.
I think before we move on, I think we should give credit to them because looking at the table, they sit in fourth position. So that was the only game they actually lost, and they
Love,
still managed to
okay.
pick one game. So they have 7 points. Haven't won two of their the two other games in week 1 of the league. So maybe if they didn't get disqualified, they probably would have won that particular one. Who knows?
Okay. So to week 2, things started changing. The table started kind of shifting. A few people held their spots. And you had Menace losing to K9. K9 lost week 1 and they won week 2. Void Gaming lost to Area 57, 0-2. Elite Gamers, this time, like you mentioned, I guess they put their house in order and were able to win Regiments 2-0. And again, Wakandas just kept on with the W, winning 2-0. And My Revenge, who won Osomina, lost to Comet Gaming. And Osomina once again losing to Aphelion Eclipse. Any surprise for you after taking note of week 1?
Yes, I'll say My Revenge because we all felt, even though at this point, so I'm talking from when that's Tuesday, no Thursday now. I'm talking from the mindset of not knowing what would happen on Friday when they played match day 3. After their win on Tuesday against Osomina, we all felt going back. This is an home encounter for them. Going back home where they will get to choose the map and have the upper hand in terms of a few decisions. I felt My Revenge was actually going to hold their own against Comets, but Comets came to show that they ain't playing, they're here for the W all the way, and that's exactly what happened. 2-0 means, and I didn't see that game, but I heard what happened in, was it at points or
Hard
was it
points, the first map,
at points,
yes.
the first map? I heard what happened there, even though that banter has been wiped away by Aphelion on Friday by the same Comet gaming. The same Comet are really, really a very angry side. Okay, that's it there. Throne has put it up. So I thought My Revenge was going to bounce, was going to really give a fight in this one. Like I said, I haven't won the first game, and that was against Osomina, who we all thought were a tough side before we knew that there were deep lying issues beyond what we thought. But then it is what it is. Comet Gaming not joking, and we know that's why they're in the top three. The only three sides in the championship division who have won all their three games at the start of the season.
Okay, wonderful. So, guys watching, what do you think about Comet Gaming serving it hot to teams in the hard points? Because week 2, they handed it to My Revenge. In week 3, they handed it over to Aphelion. What do you guys think, about Comet Gaming? And let's move on to the final match day for that week, which was week 3. And, K9, after losing their first match, started picking up the points. They won Void Gaming 2-1. So Void Gaming taking their third loss, I believe. Menace also, losing to Regiment 2-0. Area 57 picking up all 3 points again, 2-0 against Knights. Elite Gamers also picking up 3 points. After losing the first match also, 2-1, winning My Revenge, and My Revenge, doing a back-to-back loss. And Wakanda also surprisingly, 2-0 again to Osamina, and Comet Gaming, doing what they do best. They wiped out, they kind of set a new record from the record they had put in against Aphelion Eclipse. So to you, any surprise?
Oh well, I think still Osamina. I'll still stay with Osamina because being wiped like this yet again 3 times in a row. If they had picked one map at least, probably would have 1 point, even if they would be at the bottom of the table. But then yet another clean sweep from Wakanda's didn't go down well with them. And Elite Gamers then showed on match day 3 that they really, really were up to something, even though they lost the first game. And they sit behind the top 3 in 4th position. Those guys need to watch their back. Especially, I'm looking forward to them taking on 1 or 2 of them in the course of week 2. That's either on match day 5, 4, 5, or 6. And that would definitely reshape the table format if they get a win in there or something close to that.
Okay, I can see already banter already going on. Mel saying Void lost again. They sure did. And I can see someone already tipping Comet to win the championship division. So, guys, who do you think is going to take that championship crown for that division? Go ahead and put it in your comment section, and we'll go ahead and address it. I can see people coming in defense of Aphelion for that bloodbath.
I think just before you take that comment, I think it's a bit of disrespect to Area 57, the Ghanaian team. They sit at the top. Yes, 9 points with the others, but sincerely, I didn't give them a chance. And they've shown that they've really owned this and really, really good performance in their first 3 games of the season. So I think they deserve a mention also, Area 57.
Okay, shout out to Area 57. Hope their team is watching. Just like you said, also, someone else is already giving them a shout out. I'm sorry, that was the wrong comment. And it was Dre the Wolf saying Area 57 coming through too.
They actually deserve the shout out.
Okay, so after week 1, this is what the table looks like. So you have Area 57 taking all 9 points, 3 from 3, and 3 games, winning 3 games, not drawing 1, and not even picking up 1 match. They have their match difference 6-0. Same with Wakanda's. Comet also doing the same thing. I believe they dropped 1 point. They dropped a map rather.
A map, yeah.
Yeah, so that is 9 points for the top 3. So no one is leading the pack. It's just in alphabetical order, I believe, aside Comet, because they dropped 1 map. For now,
tiebreaker will look at the nitty gritty, which is your score in add points in comparison with those will be the tiebreaker in comparison with whoever you're head to head against.
Exactly.
Your score in search and destroy. Also, then we can look at your head to head results. All that will shape what would actually be the champion eventually if teams are tied the way they are at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And Elite Gamers, surprised after dropping game 1, have picked themselves up. Now they have 7 points. I guess the first game they lost, they picked a point, so that puts them in 7th. Yeah, that puts them in 4th. Aphelion also, picked first two games, got their 3 points, and the match against Comet has put them back, pegged them back to fifth because of that loss.
Yeah.
Okay, so same with K9. I believe
K9.
K9 lost.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost the first game and picked up 3 points from both games with day 2 and day 3. My Revenge, 4 points. They picked up a map from one of their losses and they won Osomina, and they are seventh. And eighth regiment, I believe the same thing applies to them. Menace also ninth, the same thing. Knights and Void Gaming sit in 10th. And that's because they've lost all 3 games also, and they picked up a map in one of their losses. So, Osomina is last with no map picked up and losing
No.
all 3
No map.
games.
No win.
No map, no win. Okay, so more comments coming in, and I can see Dre the Wolf saying Shinobi and Cams doing the Lord's work for elite gamers.
Okay. Notable
Okay,
names.
yes, and Throne said Aphelion still doing good despite 250 to 9.
Whatever happened in that game, really, really, they need to look at themselves and say never again, because this was disastrous. Not even double figures in in at points. But then, like the comment rightly says, still in the top five, top six is a good one for them, and I think they can only pick themselves up and do better going into week two.
Okay, good, 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 good. And let's go to the team of the week. I think we can now start taking notes of of
Mm,
players.
yeah.
The team of the week was Colin from Area 57, Toddler from Area 57, Spars from Comet Gaming, Shinobi, who they mentioned from Elite Gamers,
Elite gamers.
and Kwayax. Forgive me if I'm murdering that name, from Regiment. And the player who stood out for that from that team was Colin from Area 57.
So, cool. Interesting.
So
That's
what I know these are new names to you, Shayo. What do you think?
I actually know Shinobi, and I think I know Colin
You don't know
from
Quayax, because I know Quayax has
watching
really
them.
been
No,
Quayax has been oh
I
he
know, I
he's
know.
been he's been active on social media showing us his gameplay, how he's warming up. So
Yeah, I think I've seen that too. But then I think well deserved for all of them making it into the team of the week. Colin definitely deserves the player of the week. That's one man who, um, if he's missing by any reason, Area 57 would have to have to rethink what battle they're going into. So yes, indeed, a good one from the guys, and helping their teams to where they are at the moment.
okay, I can see Throne is making a correction. He said it is Shaz and not Spars from Comet Gaming. My apologies. So it is Shaz from Comet Gaming and not Spars.
Okay.
And we see a question here. I believe you addressed it at the beginning. He said, "What happened to Osomina?"
Only only them can tell us. Sincerely, they're the only ones. Because, like I said, yes, no blue,
No Bunny.
no bunny. It still doesn't mean you won't pick a map at the very least. For an Osomina standard, I believe they should have picked a map or two in 2 of the 3 games. And imagine if they had picked 2 maps, it means they won't be at the bottom. They probably will be in eighth position ahead of the guys with 1 point each. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're saying about those 1 maps counting as it is. Because even if they pick 3, it means they would have had 3 points, and
3 points. True.
be rubbing shoulders with the guys on 4 points. So hey, it still matters even if you're going to lose to try to pick a map at the very least.
Okay. I can say they're correcting my pronunciation. They said it is kayaks and not quayaks. It's K and not yaks. I can also see something interesting as the LSF boss. They've said give away.
Yes, we would work that out before the end of the. But it's not for you guys. I've told, or except that's not a gamer. It's not for the gamers. It's for the fans. That's the plan for the fans. So get your fans to start watching now, because whatever we're doing be would be going to the fans immediately after the show. So keep it locked, get people to watch, and it's for them.
Okay. Okay, good. So for the person who asked what happened to Osomina, Dre the Wolf has jumped into their defense to say no blue, no bunny, load too heavy for peace. So I
Meaning
guess
peace out.
oh wow,
Just
that was
peace out.
that was really funny. That was really funny. So for everyone joining us once again, this is sponsored by Tip NG. It's a gifting platform where you can get cash gifts from friends, families, viewers. All you need to do is sign up, and it will give you a link, and whoever wants to tip you or send you cash gifts will click on the link. They don't need to see your account number, they don't need to see your phone number, and they do not need to see your email address, and they can go ahead and say, I like what this content creator is doing, and I'll go ahead and give them 5,000, I'll give them 7,000, and so on and so forth. So I believe this is an opportunity for every gamer out there. If you are creating content, even if it's your practice, your scrims, your competitive periods, you can also just put that, because I know a few people have said support my campaign, and I believe this is from Mafia, who said support my revenge tip campaign.
Campaign.
Well,
That's the
for
way
us to
to
be able,
that's the way to
yes,
go.
that's the way to go, but we need to see content. No one just
Yeah.
gives gift without seeing content, so we need you to put your content out
Put
there
up your
for every.
content on social media, slam your tip stuff, tip link there, and there you are. The tips will start rolling in.
Exactly. And now that we're done with the championship division, let's go to the Premier Division. And this is an interesting one. And I believe something did happen this week, which we broke on the Afro Gamer after getting more information from the Lagos Esports Forum. And let me go ahead, and I know that was the opening comments, one of the opening comments. We had Corrupt Vortex caught in a scandal where they fielded an ineligible player, and I believe they were giving the player was banned, bad juju, and they were giving 12-point deduction from the overall points they would get from the season. And to the best of my knowledge, the information is, I guess they decided to pull out, saying, from that, saying, 12 points, it wasn't favorable to them, and the decision was not favorable to them. And I know the comments also was to you, Shayo, was more like, what do you think? So in a nutshell, you can give us what happened and, what you think about it.
Okay, so I guess people have read the report, and the only thing that needs to be clarified here is the fact that there was a warning at the start of this tournament that it's zero tolerance for any form of violation, cheating, trying to circumvent the rules and all whatnot. I know there are even cases where teams try to delay the start due to some, anky panky. And I know that's why we said you must set up your room 15 minutes to the time, even though that hasn't been adhered to 100%. But the truth is, we'll just cut the slack for the start of the season. As the season progresses, some there will be more stringent lines being drawn on some of them. So as I said, case of an allegation of fielding an ineligible player was brought against Corrupt Vortex, and they were given ample chance to defend themselves by every probable standard you can think of in the place of hearing from the accused, and to have it to be done beyond reasonable doubt, even though I must say it wasn't much of a criminal offense, though it may be, because you're playing to win money. Now, you submitting, because I saw the tweets they put up and said they provided all the documentation that was asked of them. That you provided all the documentation does not mean that you are free. It would only be assessed, and if it proves beyond reasonable doubt, I say yet again that those defense you put up hold water, then you will be left off the hook. But in their case, that was not the case because everything they provided, there were so many cases of coincidence. And there was actually one other thing. It was a chat between the accused player and the manager of the team, which was meant to be like the deal breaker. If that had come in, it probably would have cut them lose cut them loose a bit. Maybe the points wouldn't have been up to 12 points, and maybe the player wouldn't have gotten all season ban. But that didn't happen. So the decision was inevitable, both for the league management team, who are the moderators, and the LASF executive board, who needed to take the final decision on that one. So that was how it ended. They needed to go. Now, I must also point out, Corrupt Vortex was not thrown out of the league. They opted to leave the league, and they know the implication of that. They were duly addressed in a letter that stated to them that these are your punishment, the two punishments. If you do not accept them, this would be the implication, which they know at the moment, in case in the nearest future, because I know people like that in the nearest future, they're coming out to cry foul. They know the implication of them upping and leaving and not showing up, because we made provisions. I told the league management guys, make provision for them to show up at 7 p.m. for their second game. If they don't show up is when the second punishment would come into force. And that's exactly what happened when they failed to show up for their second game for the Amcl.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So guys, as we go through the remaining part of the recap, please let us know what you think about Corrupt Vortex and the punishment, the whole scenario. I know the community is aware, and we'll just like to know what you guys think. I can see Football Fix and he said Corrupt Vortex doing corrupt things. Quite ironic. All right, so let's move. Very interesting, yeah. Let's move to fixtures of the Premier League. The match they won, Incognito picking 3 points, 2-1 against Syndicate Mercs. Draco Solem picking up 2-1 against Cyclone Fury. Regime Unruly 2-0 to Bloody Veterans. Cryptic Demons losing to Corrupt Vortex, which was reversed because they were caught cheating. So that 3 points goes to Cryptic Demons. And Snow Wolves losing to Zero Remorse 2-1. Any surprise? I know you said you were surprised at the maps they dropped, the top three.
Yes, the top three at the moment. As at this point, it is Regime, Unruly, and Corrupt Vortex that were at the top of the table. If there was a table after match day one, because they didn't drop maps. And for me, I think there wasn't much of a surprise. Maybe I didn't think BV would have lost. Sincerely, I didn't think BV should have lost to Regime Unruly. But then talk about not knowing much about your opponents and being shocked and surprised. That's exactly what I think happened to them over here. The only other team I want to talk about is Snow Wolves, another strong and growing side in the CODM community, but they seem to be the nearly men. Because you really would think that they will take some games and they lose it. It's been happening over and over again. They were fourth at the WCS in the semifinals, where everyone thought they were going to MGT. Yeah. Same thing. I think it was third or fourth. Yeah. So they're always the nearly men, and it seems that's what they need to change. Maybe need to go and get some players from ICG or Zero, or maybe Draco Solem to show up the squad. Maybe it might just be one missing element in the side that doesn't make them nick that thing, that just pegs them at the semifinal stage. And that's exactly what has happened with this outing on match day one, because that game against 0-0 was looking like they were going to let it slip. But eventually, they showed stuffs of champion, and they bounced back to win that game away from home.
Yeah, I can see Mel saying Incognito was lucky against Syndicate Mercs. Would have easily been 2-0 win to Syndicate.
True.
So
very
wow.
For anyone who saw that game, that's the truth, and I think that's him being sincere. And I'm sure they reassessed that game, looked themselves in the face, and said, "Guys, we need to do better."
Okay. Okay, so ICG came from behind. It was a comeback, actually. Wow,
Draco
interesting.
too came from behind in the game too
Oh, wow.
against
Oh,
Cyclone Fury. Yes,
interesting.
interesting match they
Interesting.
won actually.
Yeah. Okay. And match day two, Incognito, not sleeping or taking anything for granted this time, won Cyclone Fury 2-0. Bloody Veterans also woke up from their loss and won the Syndicate Mirrors 2-0. Draco Salem automatically got a win because Corrupt Vortex refused to show up. It was a forfeit and automatic 3 points from Draco. Zero Remorse also, not taking anything for granted, picking up 2-0 for Regime. And Critic Gaming winning Snow Wolves 2-0. Any surprise for week two? For match day
Still
two, I'm
Snow
sorry.
Wolves, still Snow Wolves, still Snow Wolves. Considering the fact that Corrupt defeated Cryptic, or was it not? Okay, no, it was. Yeah, it was Cryptic they defeated on match day one, and you would
Match
have
day
thought
one.
that Snow Wolves had a chance against them, but then they didn't even take a map in that particular encounter. Really surprised at that. And for BV, look at the twist. Syndicate Mex gave ICG a tough time, and now they came up against BV, who lost their first game and didn't even take a map.
You
The
take him out.
dynamics of that game, which shows what I said about BV in that first game. I felt they should have won that game, but then it is what it is. They bounced back in the second game, and it's good for them.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Shayo. More banter. Someone said ICG is easily the best team in this league. I guess after 6 weeks, we will know. I believe time
Exactly.
will tell. Yes,
It's a marathon, not a sprint like the cup tournaments they've been playing. So if you let anything slip, it might be dangerous at the end of the day.
exactly. More banters coming in. Someone said Draco and Zero best in the league. So this person is taking out incognito this time.
Interesting. He's playing mind games.
Yes, and I can see Mel trying to be funny, saying incognito is heading to T2,
Oh,
going
cover.
to fall into the championship. Okay, so for all who are just joining us once again, this is the AMCL weekly recap, which we'll be doing at the end of each week, and it is proudly brought to you by the Lagos Esports Forum and is sponsored by the gifting platform known as Tip NG. So let's move on to week three, the final week, the final match day. I'm sorry,
That's not
week
much.
one, match day three. I keep saying week three. In this case, Incognito beat Bloody Veterans 2-0. Cyclone Fury got an automatic win because Corrupt Vortex pulled out. Zero Remorse also picked up the 2-0 against Syndicate. Draco Solem beating Snows 2-0. And in this case, Regime got a win because Cryptic also, had issues with showing up at their match. Any surprises for you?
Still Snow Wolves. What are they doing? Because it's really, really terrible. 3 losses. Um, not the Snow Wolves we know, sincerely. But for the other guys, no surprises. Incognito, BV were definitely going to have a tough time against Incognito. I'm not sure. I think they played. I'm not sure, but I think they played at MGT, and it was a clean sweep also, like we saw in this one. Zero definitely for the win, and that's exactly what they got. Draco Solem haven't rested on match day two because Corrupt Vortex bounced themselves from the league, came back and they won this one against Snow Wolves. We know who the powerhouses are, and that's the encounter I think would shape the winner at the end of the season, coming up against themselves, how they maneuver that, and that's what we're here for, and we want to see that happen.
Okay. Deadshot 47 said Syndicates and Cyclone heading to the championship division. Well, it's too early to say. You still have 5 weeks, to go. Anything can happen. Those 1 points, those one maps they win, and a few matches they win against, probably not the top three, can shape their season. And now let's go ahead and look at what the table looks like after, the week one. So we do have Draco Solem having 9 points they dropped just one map. Incognito also 9 points, dropping just one map and winning all three games. Same applies to Zero Remorse. So in no particular order, they are both first. And then Cryptic Gaming um,
Mhm.
picked up the win in match one, match two, and then forfeited match three. So who knows? They could have taken
It could
all
have,
three.
yes, yeah.
Who knows? And I believe same with Regime Unruly. They also sit at 6 points, losing one match and picking two wins. Cyclone Fury on 4 points, so that is one win, two losses, but they picked up a win in one
A
of the
map.
maps that they lost. Bloody Veterans um, have 3 points. They pick up no map and just win one match. Snow Wolves 1 point, surprisingly, eighth beneath the table with picking up one map and losing all three. Same with Syndicate Mercs and Coral Vortex, not showing up automatically have zero. Any surprise? I know you're not surprised with the top three, but
Yeah, no
from the
surprise with the top three, but I think I'm impressed with Regime Unruly. Good standing as it is, and not beyond them to give a fight to get into the top four, even though they are there by virtue of being on the same points with Cryptic Gaming at the moment. But then um, the what we want to see is the top three being dethroned. That's Draco, Incognito, and Zero, and that's what we want to see from all these other guys. And I think if there's anyone who can do it, maybe it's Cryptic and Regime Unruly. Snow Wolves, I must say yet again, need to do better. Eighth position, sitting there in the relegation zone. It's week one, but then if symptoms persist, relegation might just be staring them in the face. So they need to get those guns out and start winning games as soon as
mm,
possible. Not winning any game in match day in week one
in week
of
one,
the
yes.
league is not a good motivation to take into week two. So I hope they've rested well Saturday, Sunday to resume match day 4 tomorrow and get a very good result in that one.
Okay, and I can see Dre the Wolf said hopefully next week game week will favor Snow Wolves and
That's the
Fee.
expectation. That's the
Mm-hmm.
expectation.
And Bello jumped on that to say Snow Wolves still going to top five. So I believe it. People still see that potential, and are hoping well for their teams. More comments coming in. Holy said it's going to be a tough competition. Well, that's what we expect. We don't expect it to just be a landslide of the
Not a
top
stroll
three.
in the park. Even for the top three, like I said, I haven't dropped a game. We didn't expect that would happen early in the season. We thought
Mm-hmm.
that's something that would happen much later. Dropping a map, I mean, shows that it can be done. So for the other teams, it means you can still 1 point off them, off the top three. It's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And more comments. Uzumaki on YouTube said his nominations or his predictions is the first three will be Zero, Regiment, and Draco at the end of the league. Another person kicking out Incognito.
Interesting. Interesting.
Well, Pazival, sorry if I'm murdering your name. He says ICG, Regime, and Zero top three. He is kicking out Draco.
Draco. Interesting.
Okay, so
Interesting.
let's look at the top, the not the top this time, the Premier Division team of the week. I guess some players' names are no surprises here. You have Xerox Beast for Incognito, who is also the player of the week. You have
Mm.
Tofa from Draco Solem. You have Oslo from Zero Rumors. You have Uncle Bonus from Incognito and Bogus from Regime Unruly. Any surprise for you, Shayo?
I'll say it's good to see Uncle Bonus actually being ranked amongst the top performers from week one. He missed out of the MVP during the WCS. I think
WCS.
he was third position after Claw, which Xerox won at that time. So it's good to see him starting out well. in the league. But then kudos to Burgers for Regime Unruly. If there's any reason why Regime Unruly find themselves where they are at the moment, with the 2 wins they've racked up already so far this season, that's the man who has made it happen for them. And we should keep an eye on him also. Good performer and is given that for his side. Then Tofa, kudos to him. We all know that Claw is the mainstay, but Tofa has always been a good backup for him at Draco Solem. So it's good to see that he gave a good showing in the 2 games played so far this season, and we hope to see more performances, decent performances from him.
Okay, good, good. And I can see more comments coming in. Incognito King of Comebacks. Watch out.
Okay, okay. Don't bank on it. You don't want to walk the tightrope. Sincerely.
Exactly. And Throne is saying bonus played so well this week. I guess that is
Yes,
why he's part of the team
the team of the
of
week.
team of the week. So Shayo, what should we be expecting for week 2?
Oh well, more great performances. Um, like I said, I hope the guys who we had an eye on based on the performance from, like I said, MGT and WCS would, of course, there are other tournaments they've played, but I'm talking about tournaments for the Lagos Sports Forum, would give a decent performance, most notably Osomina in the championship and Snow Wolves in the Premier Division. I hope they'll pick themselves up and show us what we know them to do, which is to give decent and awesome performances, if I can use that without any pun being intended.
Okay. I think I'm looking forward to seeing some mid-table teams, kind of improve.
Yeah,
Week 1 is always rusty. Now when I think
just
now when
getting
it
into
now
the groove and all that.
Yes, and I believe now when it dawns on the team that it's a marathon and we have to now start picking points, I think I'm
Yeah,
really looking at the middle of the table as how teams will interchange. I'm also looking forward to Osamina picking up points. I'm really interested in that. Same with
yeah.
bloody veterans on the Premier Division. I'm looking forward to
BV
them.
also, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
picking up some, points.
Even in games that you know are very tough, the moment you're able to pick a map, it means you have 1 point in the bag,
One
and
point
that's a good
exactly.
addition, whatever it's worth. Because three maps off a game you lose is 3 points, which is you at par with one person who wins a game and lose 2 games without picking a map. So they should start doing that. That may just be a strategy they've ignored for the week 1 that they should
Hmm.
start giving consideration to going into week 2.
All right. Yeah, so more comments coming in. Someone said week 2 go hot. Well, that's what we expect. We expect it to be
That's what we're
intriguing.
here for. That's
Exactly.
what we're here
Uh,
for.
and Throne is taunting Osomina, saying Osomina not going up.
Oh well, early days. Trust me, those ladies have it in them, and I know they can bounce back. I believe they can bounce back.
Okay. Look, hopefully they also know that people are looking out for them.
Yeah,
And that is all that we have for this week one's recap. Thank you, Shai, for joining us.
always a
Um,
pleasure.
Yes, once again, this episode is powered by the Lagos Esports Forum, and it is also, sponsored by the social gifting platform TipNG. If you have not created your Tip account and your link, no one will be able to tip you. So for all
Yeah.
your sniping, for all your good plays, put them on social media, put your tip link so that we can go ahead and push that button to be able to tip you. Shayo, anything for the fans, anything for the viewers, as
So
we
let's
close up.
let's do this. It's just we'll do two for now. Just 2 winners. So what you will do is 2 fans registering now on Tip. Just snap when you're done registering, you will see a page that has your link. So copy, screen grab that page, put it up on Twitter. Put it up on Twitter with tagging the Lagos Esports Forum, the Africa at Africa Mobile CL at TipNG with the hashtag AMCL tip on AMCL. Just put it there. We'll choose 2 winners and they would get the tip.
All right, guys. So you've heard it. Just
So if
let
I'll
me just.
repeat it, just screen
Yes.
grab. Okay, you wanna take that again, or I should
Yes.
go ahead?
I think it's best. It says you are the one
So
tipping.
like I
Let
said,
them
the
hear.
moment you're done registering, I've registered, so I screen grabbed my own page. I could put it up. The moment you're done registering, you get a page that gives you the final confirmation. Screen grab it, which has your tip link also. You would ask for it later. Screen grab it, put it up on social media, your handle, CC, that's copied at Lagos Esports, at TipNG, at Africa Mobile CL with the hashtag, two hashtags, hashtag AMCL, hashtag tip on AMCL. Do everything correctly like that. Two winners will get tips before the end of tomorrow.
Okay, so guys, there you have it. I think I'm seeing a few people ask what the link to the page is. So go on Twitter, follow at tipng, and you would
Yeah,
see the
follow, you'll see
link.
it. It's www.tip.i.ng. www.tipp.i.ng. That's where you'll get to register. So tell your fans, tell your friends to do that. Put it up with the hashtag, and two people will be selected based on whatever metrics we decide. It might be the first two, it might be the last two, it might be whatever number metrics. We'll give two people tips in their account, start them up on the journey.
Okay, so guys, it is on your screen, tip.i.ng. And just so that you know that you're on the right page, this is what it looks like. And you can go ahead
Yes,
and hit the sign up button
that's
to
it at the
sign
top there.
up.
Sign up button. Exactly.
Okay, so Shaya, once again, thank you for joining us on this recap. And guys, we're looking forward to week 2, and also join us next week for a recap
Mm.
for week 2. Once again, thank you for joining the Afro Gamer, and we'll see you next weekend.